Okay, so now we have learned what is compressor. So now we're going to learn what is noise gate. Okay, so there's a noise gate and expander. So what noise gate and expander is basically is the opposite of the compressor and limiter. With compressor, if the signal crosses the threshold, means it goes exceed, it will start compressing. The noise gate or expander do the other way around. Means if the signal crosses below the threshold, it will start expanding or shutting gate. It will turn off. When we look at the normal parameters of a noise gate, it will look very similar to a compressor. It will have the same threshold, a ratio, attack, hold, and release. And the same with as with the compressor and limiter, what makes them different is the ratio parameter, where if the ratio if set to between 1 to 1 to between to ratio 1 to 10, it is called an expander. Anything that's greater than ratio 1 to 10 and above or infinity is considered a gate, means it's totally shut off. Okay, so that's expander and gate. There are different uses to this expander and gate, and most of the time we would expand and gate them a signal or a channel before a compressor. So why do we learn about compressor first? Because compressor is more commonly used than expander and gate, especially in live setting. Because if you use expander and gate wrongly, it will destroy your mix or you destroy your sound because you turn off and there's no sound coming through. So it's better to let some sound come through than no sound at all. Okay, and if you know how to use it, then it will help you to enhance your mix. So that's why we learn about compressor first, because it's easier to manage than expander and gate. But I want you to learn it, and hopefully it will help you to clean up your mix. So now we're going to put our headphones. I hope that you have your headphones, a good headphones like this, and it will help you to able to listen better. So I hope that you have a good headphones, good IEMs to listen to hear what we are about to do. Right now we have some music. Shadows and the stars appear. Okay, this is the same band that we had recording for our audio mission last year. We have the kick drum. And we have the snare. We have the overhead. Hold you for a million. And we have the vocals. Okay, and let's listen to the kick drum again. Just the kick drum. Okay, this is a kick drum mic, and you can hear the kick drum mic. You can hear the snare. Okay, this is part of the leakage. The mic will pick up everything that's in the kick drum, so it hears the mic. So you cannot tell, okay, drum mic, you don't listen to the snare. It won't do that. And let's say if I want to eliminate this snare sound from the kick drum, that's where the gate comes in. I'm going to insert a gate on this channel, and I will choose an expander. Okay, remember this software does not have a gate, but they call it an expander. So, but it's the same thing, because right on the expander, if I set the ratio to maximum, it's a gate. So I'm going to start with 0. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to slowly raise the threshold. You notice that the snare is around this threshold, and the kick actually exceeds because it's closer to the mic. So I'm going to slowly raise it. You notice that the snare is actually working. All right, but the snare is still coming through, so I'm going to raise it a little bit more. Okay, so now you don't really hear the snare. A little bit. Okay, so now totally the snare is not out of the picture. But we have to be aware that what is the attack and release time for the gate. So how fast the gate should react and how fast should it close? And you can see that it's relatively fast. If let's say I really set it to really slow to release time, you notice that it closes. But because it takes such a long time to close, the snare actually exceeded. It went through the threshold, okay, because you haven't closed yet. So we have to find the right time to and close it. So bear in mind, if you listen to a kick drum, it has a very fast transient and also has a very long sustain because it needs a rumble. So we do not want it to be too fast. If it's too fast, you only hear the transient, but there's no rumble to it. There's no the tone of the kick drum. Okay, like now. See, it's too fast. It just closes back too fast. So we need to have a proper time for it. And I'm going to set it roughly there. I'm going to set it slower. Not too slow until the snare comes in, but slow enough so that we can hear the low end of the drum being captured. Yeah, so that's the low end is coming in there. Okay, but I don't hear any snare. Okay, let's listen before and after. Before, after. It's a lot cleaner, right? Okay, but let's, of course, there's some actually went through a little bit, that's fine. So let's hear in the totality of the mix. I'm going to include the overhead. Without the kick drum, without the gate on the kick drum. You can hear more of the room, right? But if I enable the kick, enable the gate, the kick actually was right in your face, right? Yeah. So, so you have to be careful in dealing with gate, and that's what we use the gate is for, just to clean up the track. So another reason why we want to use a gate is when I want to EQ the kick drum, I want to EQ the kick drum only, not the snare mic. If there's no gate, that when I apply a low EQ, a low boost on the kick drum, the snare drum will also have a low boost because it also pick up the snare. And when I mix it all together, there's a lot of low end build up. So I want it to be clean. So that's where we're going to use the gate for the kick drum. In the next video, we're going to do the snare mic.